Hi guys, welcome back to Teammates. I'm Katin Ong, and today I'm very privileged to be here with Gloria. And she's one of my ambassadors here in Australia, but we're also classmates and very good friends. So I'm very excited to have her here.
Thank you for inviting me today, Katin. I'm Gloria and I'm passionate about skincare and beauty. And today, Katin and I are going to talk about beauty standards in different races and different cultures and how social media and company marketing strategies can have an influence on that.
I think that we're especially interested in this sort of not necessarily a new topic, but we're seeing a rise of it, especially in this new sort of digital age. I think social media apps, especially like Instagram, TikTok, yes, your Twitter, movies, everything like that is becoming more and more popular, and you see more and more young people, especially young women, young girls, like participating in these sorts of apps and trends. And we're going to unpack some of that today and have a bit of a chat. So Gloria, tell me, do you feel like there are set sort of beauty standards within things like social media and just media in general, like movies and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think living in Australia, we're particularly influenced by like a Eurocentric kind of style beauty standards where you should women are expected almost to have big eyes, like full lips, very skinny waist, and and this trend has been like growing increasingly popular, but thick, having a big behind or a big chest. And I do feel like, well, personally, when I go onto social media and I look at all of the influences, even though I'm still more so influenced by like a by Chinese beauty standards. I do like I look at the influences and I do feel a bit insecure. Just yeah, I tend to compare myself with them, and I do feel like a lot of young girls struggle with that problem too. So.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned something here which is pretty interesting, which I feel like I've noticed as well, is that beauty standards exist everywhere in the world and they can have a lot of common factors. Yeah, definitely. But there are also some pretty distinct differences as well. And you mentioned like you were a bit more influenced by Chinese beauty standards. And tell me a bit more about those.
All right. Whilst there are some major differences between Western and Eastern beauty standards, the most distinct one that I think is the sorry uh, is the insane pressure that like particularly Chinese, Japanese, and Korean girls put on themselves to be as skinny as possible.
Yeah.
I've heard of some really famous trends that are so popular, and I don't really understand why. There was the A4 challenge. You might have heard of that. It's where girls put a sheet of A4 paper in front of their waist, and they pass the
Oh
challenge.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if the piece of paper covers the waist entirely, and it just it radiates, like it sends out such a toxic message that girls have to achieve as small of a waist as possible. And there was also this other trend called like an ant waist. It sounds a bit strange, but ants are known to have like a waist measurement that's smaller than a head measurement.
Mm.
So yeah, and I think it was Rose from Blackpink. She had that kind of sheet. So yeah, so her waist was smaller than her head measurement, and people thought that was really cool. And girls would like
Wow.
go to extreme measures to starve themselves and to try and achieve that ideal waist measurement as well.
In Chinese culture, there's a lot of pressure to be skinny. Um, what other sort of beauty standards have you noticed, maybe like general appearance wise, rather than physique?
Ooh, right. And the other major beauty standard that is actually the same in basically all culture is having clear skin,
Mm.
having glass skin, and having basically no pores, no blemishes on your face. And people, and especially teenagers, yeah, especially teenagers in recent ages, you might have heard of the whole ordinary, like the ordinary trend on TikTok, like the brand.
Oh, yeah, that's like a popular brand, isn't it?
Yeah, and it all started with one girl saying, "Oh, I bought this product. It's like $7, $7 from like a pharmacy, and if you use this for 2 weeks, then your skin will be clear. You'll have no problems whatsoever." And she posted videos where I'm pretty sure, I'm like 99% sure that she had a filter on, where her skin looked basically flawless, and she was like advertising that to teenagers. And the product that she was recommending is actually it shouldn't be used by teenagers at all. It was like a chemical exfoliating peel. Like it's really, really strong acids that I guess newbies to skincare shouldn't be using
Yeah.
at all, especially if they don't have a tolerance towards that, because it can do like massive, massive damages to your skin if you
Yeah.
have never used an acid like that before. So yeah, and she was telling kids to go out and buy it, and kids
Ooh.
did, and the whole product sold out in so many different places and so many different stores. But then afterwards, as you would have expected, a lot of kids have come out and said that they got chemical burns and they blamed it on the product instead. And it's so toxic how social media just they can advertise this certain product to teenagers and exploit their insecurities. And yeah, I don't think it's the product's fault, and I definitely don't blame the kids for doing that, but it's
Mhm.
rather TikTok and just social media in general.
I definitely think like I use TikTok guiltily very often, and I see like there's a common feature that is like you have the beautify sort of filter on TikTok, and it
Yes.
basically like smooths your skin like a lot, and it minimizes the appearance of like any acne or like eye bags. It's very common, and a lot of the times, if beauty influencers in particular, like where they do close-up makeup videos or like I don't know, like thirst traps, whatever, like, and the camera is like quite close to their face or their body, like, if they have really good camera quality, they have really good lighting, like, obviously that's going to show what actual skin looks like. Actual skin has texture, and sometimes you have like acne scars, wrinkles, like eye bags, fine lines, all that sort of stuff. Like, it takes it away completely, but it still looks fairly natural sometimes, and that is like so misleading to a lot of young people when especially in advertising, like I see a lot of TikToks where famous influencers will have like a makeup product or a skincare product, and they show it and you don't know if they have it on, but most of the time they do, because like their skin looks like flawless, and it tricks so many people into thinking like, if I get this, I will be able to look like that. And in real life you can have perfectly clear skin with like no blemishes, but your skin's not going to look like, I don't know how to describe it, like one continuous thing. Like,
Frosted.
there's going to be different things in there, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that's pretty harmful.
That is a very fascinating point, how companies and beauty influencers can use filters to promote products and make them seem like they do a lot than what they actually do. It's just a toxic mentality overall, and
Mhm.
especially from the social media company side, because they're basically manipulating teens into using their apps more, because they're projecting like this false world where a person like me, I struggle with acne, but I could go on to I could go onto TikTok and put on the filter and pretend that I had perfect skin. And people could get addicted to that idea.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just it makes me uncomfortable how social media is just
Yeah.
use that
Yeah.
strategy to exploit people.
Social media is extremely good at playing on certain insecurities and finding solutions for them. With that, what you said, like, oh, some people like will go into TikTok just so they can see like a version of themselves that they want to see. Like, I definitely play into that a lot of the time. Like, I also have a lot of skin problems. I know that's kind of ironic because right now, I'm wearing makeup. I purposely have like good lighting here, and I come on and I make sure that my hair looks good and I'm in a nice outfit and I present the best version of myself, on purpose, because I don't want people to see like what I actually look like and that sort of thing like that. And I think I sorry, I want to ask your opinion of obviously this sort of, I don't want to say illusion because it's still you, but like this quote unquote improved version of yourself because you get to have these filters, like this blurring effect or this thing, especially on apps like TikTok, which now we're seeing more and more young kids like have access to it and use it. Like, how damaging do you think that is? Like that now young kids, especially young girls, because we are, because of the patriarchy, like have a lot more of these sort of insecurities like projected onto us. Like, how do you think that they're going to turn out, like this new generation of young kids on social media apps where they're expected to look perfect all the time?
Okay, that is a very good question. Um, I don't think that there is a problem with wearing makeup and trying to be the best version of yourself by putting on a nice outfit. But the problem more comes so from people doing that purely so that they could hide their imperfections.
Mm.
People feeling like they don't have enough self confidence and they have to do all these things to attain that self confidence. I have a problem with people who are doing those things purely so that they could appear perfect in front of people,
Mm.
and they don't have like an inert sense of self-confidence. They don't think I'm doing this just so that I could feel confident, just so that I could feel beautiful, that and I could be who I am. Instead they're doing this, instead they're doing makeup so they could hide their blemishes and think, oh, if I do this then people won't notice, and then people will think that I'm perfect. And that's more of a toxic mentality.
Mm.
But unfortunately, I do think that yeah, it is okay for teens to start using makeup and to like familiarize themselves with it, because yeah, as you said, we live in a patriarchal world, and one day like I would say 90% of the female population, sorry, like 90% of a teen, like female teens, would grow up one day and use makeup like almost on a daily basis.
Mm.
And I do think it's a good idea to, I guess, start practicing doing makeup. But it's extremely problematic for 9-year olds, for even 7-year olds, to think that they need makeup
Mm.
just because they don't have perfect skin. That is not okay.
We need to have these sort of like discussions, like where is the line, sort of thing. And maybe
Mm.
there isn't even one, but like there's some kind of regulation or things that need to happen.
Yeah. I would consider doing makeup not as a form of self-expression when you feel the need to, when you are pressured into doing makeup. Like if you feel like if I don't put foundation on, if I don't powder, if I don't put powder on, if I don't put lipstick on, then I can't leave the house. I can't face the world. I can't face society. That is where it's problematic, and where I don't think people definitely shouldn't feel that way, but unfortunately they do.
I think a lot of people need to realize is that um, the whole point of things like, at least from my perspective of makeup and skincare, is that, the goal is to have healthy skin and to have an appearance that you like, not to constantly be like, you know, perfect, that sort of thing, like skincare for me, and I'm still struggling with this a little bit, is like for healthy skin, not perfect skin, because just because I have super clear skin and like no fine lines or anything doesn't mean my skin is like healthy. Those things don't necessarily constitute like perfection.
Whilst you and I both understand that that's the place where we should be, and that's the place where all goes, everyone should feel,
Mhm.
but with marketing strategies and social media perversely presenting this false idea of beauty standards, and just like pushing and pressuring young girls into doing all those things so that they could earn money. Like in this kind of environment, it's almost impossible for people to be in that state. And even though we do realize this issue, it's like, well, I think I'm assuming that is the same case for you. But like when I look at skincare ads, I still feel pressured, and I still feel like, oh, I kind of want that just so that I could,
Yes,
you know,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.